Hello, this is my pick'ems for Masters Madrid. I'm also going to do a little tier list after this, after these 4 games. So, Common Core versus FPX. So I think Common Core is going to be a finals contender, and I think it wouldn't make much sense for them to lose to, in my opinion, the 7th, 8th team. Or a 7th, 8th team. So I think Common Core are going to win this. They have some of the strongest individual players at the tournament, and they also have really, really strong coaching staff, at least from what I've seen and what from the outside looking in, what I've heard as well. Gen.G load. Gen.G load is probably going to be the coin flippiest game, because I think that it's based around if the Gen.G players have good enough individual performances. At the same time, if load is able to shut them down, basically. I think Gen.G have they have carrying and texture, right? If those players play well, have carrying performances, I think that's how they beat load. I think load will be aiming to control and shut down those players, and I do think the thing that worries me with load, even though I am going to predict them to win this game, I do think this is pretty much a coin flip. Honestly, I think it's pretty close. I think Gen.G have a decent chance of winning this. As a first seed, you kind of expect that as well. But yeah, I think load have worried me a bit with their comps. I think their comps have very clear weaknesses. Like, for instance, if load went against Common Core, I think load would definitely lose, and I think it would be quite emphatic. But with Gen.G, they haven't really shown anti-stratting to me as much, and shown a lot more reliance on individual players. So I definitely think that loud have a chance of winning versus these players, versus this team. EDG versus FPX, I would say the two weaker teams together, if that makes sense, or not weaker teams. I think EDG are going to be 5th, 6th, maybe even sneak into 4th, and I think as a result, I think they will actually beat FPX. I think FPX really are struggling as a team at the moment. They do have some good individual players, with some good individual performances recently, and I think that's the main reason why they even qualified, is because they have good individual performances rather than actually being a good team overall. And EDG have always shown good team play, along with having really, really cracked individual players. So I think EDG will end up winning, but I don't think they're going to really break into the top 4, the top 4, unless they really, really overperform. Sentinels versus Team Heretics. I think Sentinels will end up winning this. I think they are a top 2 team along with KC, and I think the main storyline of this tournament is going to be KC versus Sentinels, and when they'll meet, basically. And hopefully they meet in the finals for something really hype, but we'll see. Maybe they meet sooner than that. Ideally, we want to have that hype finals with Sentinels KC. I think Team Heretics are good, don't get me wrong. I just think that they really are going to struggle to break through these top 2 teams in KC and Sentinels. They've already shown they've demonstrated with KC, but I do think that Sentinels is more or less on the same level as KC. Maybe, obviously, I think maybe a bit less. I think is the not necessarily consensus right now, but I think people are kind of favouring Common Core a tiny bit overall. But I do really think the individual players such as Zek and Tens, I think Sassy's had a good tournament. I think John QT is really talented. Zelsis is having a good tournament too. I had a good tournament in qualifying for Madrid. For Madrid. So I do think that Sentinels have really good, strong individual players. They have some good, strong protocols as well. They've been playing together the longest. So they're actual, as I said, the protocols are really, really good. So we're going to go over onto the tier list. I'm going to look at this. So I think it's pretty obvious. I'm going to put KC at S. I think Sentinels could go either one. I think I'm going to put them at S just because I think it is I think these are my top 2, basically. So it kind of makes sense with the way that I'm going to divide this up. I think Loud is very clear 3rd. And then I think it's between Team Heretics and Gen.G over here. And I think EDG have a chance to overperform. So what I would do is I would put Gen.G and Team Heretics along with... actually, no, I'm not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put Gen.G and Team Heretics. Actually, I'm going to put Team Heretics with Loud. And put Gen.G... Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to do this. We're going to have Gen.G and Loud and Team Heretics all here. Because I actually do think... this is as I said, I think this is the closest game. So, it would kind of make sense to put them on the same tier. And then I actually think Team Heretics is pretty similar to these teams as well. So I do think it's like this. I think EDG is very clearly 5th place, and if they overperform, they can break through here. But I think they are going to be generally around 5th, 6th, 7th. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. So they can break through to 5th or 4th. But for the most part, they're going to find themselves in 6th, I think. And then we've got FPX versus FPX. I think that for the most part, it's going to be something like this. But it wouldn't surprise me if it's something like this either. So that's kind of my tier list. I think overall that I think FPX is going to struggle. I think FPX has some good players, but I think they're going to struggle against more coordinated teams. I think EDG have some good teams, but I don't think it's enough to break through these top 5. I think Gen.G is probably the closest to the bottom over here. Actually, I'm going to do this. I think Team Heretics, Loud, Sentinels, and Karmine Corps all stand a chance of being within the finals, but I think the most likely outcome is going to be Karmine Corps versus Sentinels in the final, with Karmine Corps winning. That's my pick'ems and my tier list, so I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next one.